I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before we have roll call, I'd like to have Mr. Gillum give us the results from the 2024 November election, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. We did get the official canvass of the votes cast at the general election on November 5th from the Oakland County Election Division. First, just a general comment. Compliments to the residents here in the village of Wolverine Lake, both of our precincts. We had voter turnout of over 70%, which is very, very good. So, we had a total of 6 candidates running for 4 positions on the council, and starting with the highest number of votes, first Aaron Laybourne, 1,214 votes. Next, Mark Geremini, 1,074 votes. Michael McNutt, 1,052 votes. Aaron Newman, 927 votes. Grant McNutt, 880 votes. And Beth Ayers, who was a write-in candidate, received 4 votes. So based upon that, Ms. Laybourne, Mr. Geremini, and Mr. McNutt will be serving 4-year terms on council, and Aaron Newman will have a 2-year term on council.
Great. And with that, I'm going to hand the meeting over to President Pro Tem Mark Duff to seat the next council. And everybody have a very happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and good evening to me. Thanks.
All right, good evening, council.
Good evening.
All right, so let's see. So the swearing in of the new council members.
And we'll start with the newbie. Let's start with Ms. Laybourne. If I can get you to step up to the podium. This is the same oath we took when you went into the zoning board, so nothing too tricky. So, got to sit under the box. Sure. Find the spot where your name is. There we go. I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand and then repeat after me, please. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United
the
States
Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully perform
and that I will faithfully perform
the duties of
the
office of councilperson
councilperson
in and for
in for
the village of Wolverine Lake,
the village of Wolverine Lake,
county of Oakland,
county of Oakland,
and state of Michigan,
state of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I get you to sign on that line right there, please. Okay. And then next, Mr. Geremini, if you could step up, please. You've done this before, too.
Yeah.
Okay. If I get you to raise your right hand, please. Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully perform
and that I will faithfully perform
the duties of
the office of
councilperson
councilperson
in and for
in and for
the village of Wolverine Lake,
the village of Wolverine Lake,
county of Oakland,
county of Oakland,
and state of Michigan,
state of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Signature right there, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. McNutt, if you can join me at the podium, please. And then if you hadn't done it before, you've heard these other people do it too, so.
Didn't memorize it.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll work our way through it. So, again, you got your raise your right hand for me. Thank you. Could repeat after me. I do solemnly
I
swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United
the
States
Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of this
the
state,
Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully perform
and I will faithfully perform
the duties of
the duties of
the office of
the office of
councilperson
councilperson
in and for
in and for
the Village of Wolverine Lake,
Village of Wolverine Lake,
County of Oakland,
County of Oakland,
and State of Michigan,
State of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sign right there, please. Thank you. And last but not least, Mr. Newman. Dressing pretty sharp there tonight, Aaron. You cleaned up pretty good. So, again, you've done this before too, but I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand and repeat after me.
Yeah.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United
the
States
Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully perform
and I will faithfully perform
the duties of
the duties of
the office of
the office of
councilperson
councilperson
in and for
in and for
the Village of Wolverine Lake,
the Village of Wolverine Lake,
County of Oakland,
County of Oakland,
and State of Michigan,
and State of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Too much of it.
Sit up here. Black there up.
There we are. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, but it's a cat. Seems like it's a little bar.
All right, and with that, let's do a roll call.
Tough,
Here.
Newman,
Here.
Jeremini,
Here.
Kaznecki,
Here.
Claiborne. Here. McNutt,
Here.
O'Brien.
Here.
All right, next is the election of council officers.
I'd like to make a motion
Okay,
to nominate Mike McNutt as president of the council for 2 years.
Second.
any other nominations?
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Mark Duff for council president for a period of 2 years.
Second.
All right, first up, let's have a roll call vote.
Newman,
On which motion?
Well, actually, did you accept that?
Yes.
Okay, so the first one for Mr. McNutt.
no, okay. We've got Newman,
No.
Jeremini,
Yes.
Kaznecki,
Yes.
Claiborne,
Yes.
O'Brien,
No.
Duff.
Yes. All right, and with that, I'll turn the gavel over to you.
Sort it out a little bit. Thank you. Got big shoes to fill. Mr. Andrew.
Maybe I'll let you borrow his shirt.
I was hoping for the tie, maybe, but. Not the tie. My shorts. You can keep those. Those shorts. 6B, selection of council president pro tem. 2-year
I'd like to
term.
make a motion to nominate Mark Duff as president pro tem of the council for 2 years.
Second.
Motion by Kaznecki, second by Newman.
Roll call.
Can I make a second motion?
You can.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate
Wait,
Mark
so-
Jeremy as pro temp.
I'm sorry, I know we kind of did this a little messy the last time, but we do one motion at a time. So
Okay.
you do a first and a second on a motion, and then you vote on that motion, and depending on what happens there, then you
Make a second.
do another motion.
Okay, so we're voting on the first motion.
Newman.
Yes.
Jeremy.
No.
Guzekowski.
Yes.
Claiborne.
No.
Nutt.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Okay.
You don't vote for yourself.
Okay. Yep. His motion passes, yeah. Just double checking.
So we have a president and a new president pro tem. So congratulations to both of you.
Can I grab my placard?
Yeah, let's do some shuffling here with.
Switch seats.
We need that piece of plastic down here.
There you go. Pass that down to Ms. Claiborne, please.
Just gonna pitch that Brian Nedrow one.
We'll recycle it unless he wants it for,
Party. Right. Do you have any additions to business?
possibly, yeah. I'm going to direct council's attention to item 9 under correspondence and information. Item D, which is a letter from an attorney regarding a request for possible amendments to the zoning ordinance to allow a particular use up at the Shepherd of Lutheran Church on Commerce Road. I guess we can address it at the time, or we could add an agenda item towards the end of the meeting, but I would respectfully request that council consider adding that as a discussion item tonight.
I think it's a nice thing. Like, we should have it.
So I don't know if we want to take it when we get to correspondence, or if we want to add an item to the end of the agenda.
Yeah, I read that.
Village people. This goes with that, so.
Yeah, we could add it as 15-0, if council would be so inclined.
That's a lot of
And just for council's benefit, if you have a second during the rest of the meeting, there is some supplemental information at the table that I provided. I know that Mr. Giramini and I had talked earlier in the week, and he had some questions about exactly what was proposed. So I was able to obtain a little bit of information for council's benefit, so. But again, we can specifically talk about that when we get to that part of the agenda. But that information is at the table for you, so.
All right. Thank you. Approval of agenda.
So if you want to take it off of correspondence.
Second.
Second motion. Take it up for
A motion, yeah.
Yeah, motion put on 15-0.
Yeah.
Receive and file. Thank you. Thank you.
So if you would want to take it off of correspondence and information, you'd have a motion to add it to new business as item, I guess, 15.
15-0. Okay. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by O'Brien. Roll call.
Jeremy.
Yes.
Guzekowski.
Yes.
Claiborne.
Yes.
McNutt.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Duff.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
As far as item 8, the approval of the agenda is concerned, I do have a couple items that I would like to pull from the agenda if I could. First is item 13A is the audit presentation from Raina Emmons from PSLZ. Raina had a conflict tonight when we put the agenda together at the end of last week. She had been over last week. We thought she was going to be able to resolve the conflict, so that's why the audit presentation appears on the agenda tonight. But She called me this afternoon, it turns out she wasn't able to resolve the conflict. So if we can pull that from the agenda, we'll just hold that over until our next meeting on Wednesday, January 8th.
So you need a motion to pull it?
Motion.
Second.
Enough, second, anyone? Roll call?
Kaznecki?
Yes.
Claiborne? Yes. McNutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
Jeremini?
Yes.
And then the other item I would like to have council pull from the agenda tonight is item 15D1, the Administrative Committee recommendation regarding prosecuting attorney services. I don't want to get too far into the weeds at this point, but there's some additional information that I received since the time that the Administrative Committee met. And I think it would be important that I can relay that information back to the Administrative Committee, which is going to be reconfigured tonight anyway, before council actually makes a decision. We do have time to make that decision. We really don't have to have a decision made probably till the middle of February. So if we could pull that item tonight, then it'll allow me to have some conversation with the Administrative Committee in January, and we can get a recommendation back to council in plenty of time.
I'll make a motion to pull that from the agenda.
Second.
Enough. By Kaznecki. Roll call?
Claiborne?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
Jeremini?
Yes.
Kaznecki?
Yes.
But I think at this point, then, we'd need a motion to approve the agenda as
As
amended.
Make a motion that we approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Enough. Newman. Roll call?
McNutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
Jeremini?
Yes.
Kaznecki?
Yes.
Claiborne?
Yes.
Correspondences and information. It's like from Oakland County, no admission to parks anymore, so effective immediately. So that's a nice one there. We also have correspondence from Mr. Daly. And Comcast, his prices are going up. Nothing ever goes down. So, no surprise there. And then 9D, we have the behavior for all, that's moved to 15.0, discussion point. And we start looking at market update.
Make a motion that we receive and file as presented.
Second.
Duff, motion by Duff, second by Newman. Roll call.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
Jeremini?
Yes.
Kaznecki?
Yes.
Claiborne?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes. Brings us first call to the public. It's an opportunity for citizens to address the council on agenda items only. So, there is none. So, 11, consideration of approving the following consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Giannini. Now, it's a roll call.
Duff?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
Jeremini?
Yes.
Kaznecki?
Yes.
Claiborne?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Board appointments. The recommendation council appoint Bonita Beach as an alternate member of the beautification committee.
Make a motion to appoint one of each as alternate.
Did you say
member.
as a current member or as an alternate?
It says alternate member.
No, I don't think she's a current member. I think she just
Yeah, as an
is
alternate
offered to
member.
help and
She's
maybe
offered
help
to help.
occasionally,
So
but
they
she's
wanted
not a
to-
current member.
They previously had an alternate.
I can't hear
They
you.
previously had an alternate,
Oh,
and that person had stepped down, so
Second that?
So motion by Newman.
Motion by Newman, second by Duff.
Second by Duff. We don't need a roll call, do we?
No.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And we'll follow up with Ms. Beach. We'll get her in and get her sworn in prior to the next beautification committee meeting, which actually isn't scheduled until either March or April the 3rd. So,
I think she goes with Florida in the wintertime.
If she isn't already there,
Yeah, if you, no, not until after Christmas.
You're the smartest one of all of us. All right, presentations, removed A, the audit presentation from Miranda from the agenda, so on to B. Mr. Powell.
Yes, thank you, Council, and Merry Christmas. I'm assuming that these things are turned up. I can actually hear myself now, so hopefully the audience can hear. The first item is the pay request for Hutch Paving. Council has already authorized the payment of their work. Each phase of the project, however, we recommend withholding 10% until, or 5%, I'm sorry, until such time that we had the ability to see how well that road weathered until winter. We are recommending that the last phase of the project, that retention amount remain all the way through the winter. It's about $4,700. That way, if there's some problem on any of the roads, we can hold the contractor responsible for those repairs. The specifications say they're responsible for up to a year anyway, so they have certainly stepped up and said that they're going to be responsible. That being said, it's my recommendation that we pay them the retainage amount for the pay request number 1 and number 2, since that is a fairly large sum, and I didn't believe it was fair to hold that money back for the entire winter. I believe the $4,700 will be enough to repair any section that might happen on the roadways, and so my recommendation is to pay Hutch Paving $42,379.02 from the retained portion of the pay requests.
I'll make a motion that we pay Hutch Paving $42,379.02.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by O'Brien. Roll call.
Newman.
Yes.
Jeremini.
Yes.
Chesnecki.
Yes.
Claiborne.
Yes.
McNutt.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Duff.
Yes.
Item 2 is the 2024 crack sealing program. Those of you that are new, Ms. Laybourne, this is an annual project that the village undertakes to make sure that the cracks are sealed in the roadways prior to winter. So any water that might migrate down through those cracks doesn't break the pavement apart as it freezes and thaws. It's been a very, very good addition to the budget here in the village. That being said, A&R Seal Coating has been the low bidder on this project for 10, 12 years now. They are virtually half of what the next lowest bidder is. Every time I'm out with them and compliment them, they tell me that it's not their first rodeo, and so they've done it for many, many years. In this particular year, because of the lateness of the leaves dropped, we had a little bit of a conflict. We like to have them do this work after the first freeze or thaw or freeze, so the cracks are as wide as they're going to get as the pavement shrinks. And we still had some leaf piles in front of people's homes, and so they let us know, and a couple residents actually let me know that the crack sealing had gone by, but there was still a pile of leaves out in front. We did hit our maximum of the amount of cracks based upon the budget number. They work with us very, very well. They typically go way over on the crack sealing. They know the intent of the crack sealing, but they also know to only invoice the village the budgeted amount, so they work with us extremely well. That being said, I'm recommending the A&R Seal Coating be paid their invoiced amount of $20,999.40 for the crack sealing in the 2004 crack sealing program.
I'll make a motion to make a payment to A&R Seal Coating in the amount of $20,999.40.
Second.
Motion made, second by Duff. Roll call.
Jeremini.
Yes.
Chesnecki.
Yes.
Claiborne.
Yes.
McNutt.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Just a general comment on that, if I could. A little bit more than a third of that project cost will actually be paid for by Oakland County through the use of the local road improvement funds that the county has allocated. We have already submitted the invoice for the county's portion of what we paid, and we've already been reimbursed as well. So,
As another note, they were made aware that we had some cracking in the village parking lot, and at their own cost, they came in and crack sealed the village parking lot as well. So that just, they're extremely stand-up company. Again, I wanted you guys to know it.
That's great.
Item number 3, this is the continuation of the Penny Lake Ditch Enclosure Project, and this is really my bad. Apex Brick and Landscaping Services came in and actually did the restoration, the lawn restorations on Wolverine Drive portion of the project from Pinecrest, from Pinecrest to Amenia. They did that back in June, and they invoiced, and somehow it got past my desk, and they reminded me before the end of the year that they hadn't been paid for that project yet. They did an excellent job. They came back a couple times at some requests from homeowners to do some modification, and so it's been delayed, but I recommend that the village pay Apex Landscaping $4,301 for their restoration work for that project.
I make a motion that we pay Apex Brick and Landscaping Services $4,301.
Second that.
Motion by Kaznicki, second by Duff. Roll call.
Kaznicki?
Yes.
Claiborne?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
The last pay request tonight is for JJM Backhoe Service. If council remembers, the administrator and I negotiated a settlement with the contractor that actually put the ditch enclosure project in for the section of Wolverine Drive from the Greenaway Drain to Penny Lake Road. It was a settlement to hopefully make that project go away, and as part of that, we agreed to handle the checklist items, the punch list items on that particular project. It really was a win-win because JJM does such an excellent job at a much lower rate than what the village was being charged by the contractor. And so therefore, I wholeheartedly support the payment of $690.12 to JJ&M for the cementing up and the sealing up of the manhole structures and catch basin structures along that section of Wolverine Drive.
I make a motion that we pay JJM Backhoe $690.12.
Second. Motion by Duff, second by O'Brien. Roll call.
Sorry, I didn't hear a thing when that cut. Did you call for roll call?
Yes, it did.
Okay. Claiborne?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Kaznicki?
Yes.
The last item's just an update, and it was caught really everyone in the industry by surprise. The site has been surveyed in, staked out. Hopefully the children haven't removed all the staking. When we called the contractor that was on board all summer to be able to actually build the track with his backhoes and dozers, Russo Excavating, he has decided to retire as of a month ago, and therefore he has shut down. When I contacted him, he said he still would like to do the project. I told him that it was the village's desire to have that done this fall, he was recommending that he wait until spring. This is Russo Excavating. I'm a little bit jealous in that I used to do work with his dad, and now his son is retired, and I'm still here. But that being said, Mark Russo says he will do the project in the spring, but I didn't know if council would like me to approach other contractors that we might be able to get out and do the job this fall yet. And there's nothing that says it can't be done this fall, because the pile of materials, once the dozer starts pushing around, it's not going to be frozen or anything. And with a little frost in the ground, it'll actually prevent us from digging up the existing grass that's around the area. But I would like some input from council as to whether you'd like me to pursue other contractors to do that work this fall, or let Mark Russo do it in the spring.
Isn't there a chance that if you wait till spring, the stakes aren't going to be there anymore? Because, I mean, I remember being a kid.
Knowing kids, they work great for swords like in Star Wars. Exactly right. So, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I think we should ask around, see if there's any contractors able to fit it in,
I can do that.
get down, and just so we know.
It certainly doesn't hurt, and I get prices from them, and then I can bring it back to council in January.
Those piles don't look great.
I didn't hear you.
Those piles don't look, I mean, having walking by them a lot.
Oh, they're beautiful.
I mean, do I want to climb them and play like King of the Mountain kind of thing? Yes.
Believe it or not, I've gone by, and the kids are using
Right.
those for their track.
They'll
They're
find a
going
way.
up and down.
Kids will
Oh,
find a
those.
way.
Job done.
Yeah, absolutely, we're done.
But I think it'd be nice to get it in the ground.
All right, very good, I will do that.
How long of a process to get it away? How did they say?
It'll probably only take them a week and a half to push that around. There's nothing magical, and in a normal construction site, you'd have the contractor come in and do their job, and then the surveyor would come back in and check it and make sure it was in, if you were building a road. This, nobody's going to know whether or not the bump is 6 inches higher than the other side, and so it's not a big deal as long as the intent is where it's at. So we're not looking for brain surgery here. So I think it'll only take a week and a half.
It should get going.
I'll follow through on that.
So do we have a motion for that? Yes.
Thank you, council, and Merry Christmas.
If that's the consensus, we're okay.
Public hearings, we have none. So, new business. Organizational item. Set meeting day, time, location, second Wednesday of each month at 7 p.m. for regular meetings. Fourth Wednesday of each month at 7 p.m. for work sessions to be held in the Village Council chambers.
I make a motion that we accept the set time and date for regular council meetings and the work sessions.
Second.
Motion by...
As presented, sorry.
Yes, ma'am. Motion by Duff, second by Newman. Do I need a roll call for that? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, adopt rules and order of business, Robert Rules of Order.
Make a motion that we accept Robert Rules of Order.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Newman. We can review roll call for that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Designate official newspaper, Oakland Legal News.
Make a motion we use Oakland Legal News as our designated newspaper.
I'll second that.
Motion by Newman, second by Duff. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And now designate signatories to the village funds.
Council, anytime that there's any check that's issued on the village accounts, although we're moving more towards ACH, and I think maybe Ms. Hanson will give you a little bit of information about that during her update tonight, but as it stands right now, any checks that are issued by the village are signed typically by Ms. Hanson and I. And then for backup reasons, in case one or both of us wasn't available, we also have traditionally had the council president and the council president pro tem on the village's account as authorized signatories. So again, that's our recommendation at this point in time, that we continue that tradition. So what that would mean is that Mr. McNutt is the council president, and then Mr. Duff is the council president pro tem, along with Ms. Hanson and I, would be the authorized signatories on the village accounts. So we would need a motion to that effect, please.
Motion to designate signatories to village funds to be Jennifer Hansen, Dave Gillum, Council President Mike McNutt, and Council President Pro Tem Mark Duff.
Second.
Motion by Jeremy, second by Newman. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
And Mark, we'll check, Jennifer and I, we'll check with the bank. You're already on as pro tem. I don't know if the change in, you're on as pro tem anyway.
Yeah, I'm on
so-
as pro tem.
Yeah, so.
Easy peasy.
You're probably safe, but Mike, again, we'll confirm, but I think it is going to mean you're going to have to take a trip over to Chase Bank at some time to get a signature on file with them, but we'll let you know.
Thank you. Council committee assignments.
Council, we had provided you with the current listing of committee assignments. Where Mr. Nedrow was listed before, we went ahead and indicated the position was vacant. There are also some other positions that are on here that, for boards and committees that haven't met for some time, where the positions were actually held by Dave Dumont when he was still on council. So we went ahead and we listed those positions as vacant as well. I think all of you know, probably as well or better than I do, but some of these groups haven't met for some time and may not need to meet again, I'm not sure. So leave it up to you as to exactly which positions are going to be filled. The ones I can tell you that I definitely believe do need to be filled is the vacancy on the administrative committee, the vacancy on the negotiating committee, the council's liaison to the planning commission, the other ones, again, I would leave it up to you as to whether or not those can be filled. And for any of you that are already on these committees in other positions, so for example, the admin committee for the last council group was Mr. Nedrow, Mr. Duff, Mr. O'Brien. So this would show Mr. Duff and Mr. O'Brien with a vacant position. You can shuffle the deck any way you want to. I mean, if they would like to continue and you want to have them continue in those roles, they can, but they're not required to. You can make as many changes, as few changes as you want, but again, the vacant positions that I highlighted before, I believe are the ones that we absolutely have to fill at a minimum.
Okay.
If you have
Mr.
questions,
Jones?
we can work through.
We just missed one on the pathway committee. David Dumont's still on there. Just
Did we miss that?
You missed that one.
Oh, we did, okay, yep.
Just brought,
Yep.
for housekeeping.
Yep. Which is one of the groups that hasn't met during the
Probably.
period of time that
Right.
I've been here
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
so, yeah.
In my entire time of being on it.
All right, let's start with the administrative committee.
I'll volunteer for the administrative committee.
Okay. So what about that? Do the people
I think we would need,
want to be on
I
our,
mean, if Mr. Duff and Mr. O'Brien are willing to continue on the
I am,
admin
yes.
committee.
Yep.
Okay. Then if Mr. Newman has volunteered, I think if there's a motion.
I'll make a
second.
motion.
I'll second.
motion by Duff, second by O'Brien. A roll call.
Nutt,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Kaznecki,
Yes.
Laybourne.
Yes.
Okay, so administrative committee is set.
I can do that spot on the negotiating committee. It's kind of in my area of business.
Make motion to nominate O'Brien to the vacant position negotiating committee.
Second that.
Second by Newman. Motion by Newman, second by Duff.
Yep.
Can I step in first, since the people that are currently on it, do they want to
Yep.
stay on it?
I'll stay on. Well, you're on it. Do you want to stay on?
Yes. Yep. So, all right, roll call.
O'Brien?
Sure.
Oh, sorry, it is for you. Duff?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Guzekowski?
Yes.
Claiborne? Yes. McNutt?
Yes. Let's go to the Audit and Finance Committee. We have the 3 that are on it. They'd like to stay on it. Mark, myself, and Bill O'Brien.
Yep, I'm good.
Okay. Park capital approval? Is that one that meets a lot?
No. I kind of wondered why it's still, I mean, if we just spent several $100,000 on the parks, and this committee did not meet
Did not meet
once.
once,
And
yeah.
it's met once in my entire time, and that was in 2019. So I'm not even sure.
Well, I'll be on that one
I
then.
think that, if I'm not mistaken, the whole point of it was to get it in line so that we could apply for grants.
It was when the, from what I understand, from when the Claire Miller Park Master Plan was made.
Yep, exactly.
And then, in terms of applying for grants, we did that without
Yeah.
this committee, so.
I mean, if that's the case, my thought anyway, take it or leave it is, but go ahead and leave the position vacant.
Yeah.
And if in fact we have to resurrect the committee for some reason, we can bring it
Can we just
back.
make a motion to nullify the committee?
You could, yeah, I don't.
I'll make a motion that we dissolve the Park and Rec Capital Committee.
Second. Went off the list.
Motion by Dove, second by Jeremy, to dissolve the Park Capital Approval Committee. Yes, we have a roll call now.
Duff?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Guzekowski?
Yes.
Claiborne?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
And O'Brien?
Yes.
Yes, any boards or committees that you feel we don't need anymore and you want to dissolve, we can do that as long as they weren't created by way of ordinance. Because if they were created by way of ordinance, then we'd have to have another ordinance to repeal. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Do we have any idea what were created by ordinance?
I think I'd have to look at your beautification committee,
It was.
and
It was by resolution.
Or was it a resolution?
Yeah, it was by,
Okay.
because we just did that within the last year.
You did,
year and a half.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't see, I mean,
Liaisons have to exist.
no, I don't, I mean, you have to have your liaisons.
Sure.
I don't see anything else on here
I
that,
never understood what this one was.
I
Other than
like that you're on it, though.
Yeah.
It's inspiring.
I don't know how the gypsy moth
been
one
like-
came to be.
I think it was.
I mean, I know we always joke about this one every time committee assignments come up, but,
Purchase of the,
yeah,
It's Mr. Jeremini, remember, since he's the one
Which
who's
one?
on it.
gypsy moth.
I just threw my hat in the ring. I figured, I don't even know
I
what Gypsy
know,
Moth
we
is.
joke about that every time it comes up. It has literally been on here, I think, for
Well, we don't, I mean,
20-something years.
it can exist, it's fine. I'm not sure what you're gonna expect.
Building that
If I get a full attention, take it out, but
Yeah, I don't see any of these being created by ordinance.
Okay.
So as far as the other committees go, to make it easier, should we just say, is there anybody who's on another committee that doesn't want to be on it anymore? And if so, which one is it? And then we just move to fill in the vacancies after that? Otherwise, it's going to take a
Good
long
idea.
time to go through 19
You
of
can
these
do that.
committees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, the one's vacant is Liaison Planning Commission.
Did you have interest in that?
No, I definitely would like to be considered as liaison for zoning.
Oh, for zoning?
I could do one more. I could volunteer for the planning commission.
So,
Motion?
what?
I'll make a motion.
You're
For-
saying to be a liaison for ZBA?
Yep, I've been co-chair since 2018 on zoning.
Right, so Mark, but you're stepping down from?
No,
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
planning on stepping down.
Yeah, and the practical problem becomes state law only allows one member
Right,
of the council to be on the zoning board.
right.
So,
That's where my confusion was
Yeah.
coming in.
There's no opening in that one.
but I guess we need to deal with the
Planning.
planning.
So I make a
council.
motion that we appoint Aaron Newman as the liaison for planning commission.
Second?
Motion by Duff, second by O'Brien. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, here.
Before we jump into anything else, Aaron, if I could ask, then that means you're going to be on the administrative committee now. You'll be the liaison to the planning commission. You're currently the liaison to the water management board. Did you want to continue in that position as well?
Yeah, I'll keep doing it.
Okay.
I think this is appropriate workload, so it's not going to overdo us.
And the Phase 2 Subcommittee, we have an opening. Mr. Tedder was in that. And it's the planning commissioner, right?
What is that?
Redwood? Redwood,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Can somebody elaborate on that one?
I think that was for the Redwood development.
Is that
wasn't it?
Redwood Development?
Phase 2, I think that's groundwater. I think it had to do with groundwater. Yeah, and I mean,
I haven't met for a long time.
they've never met. Yeah,
Since probably,
probably a decade.
yeah.
I mean-
I'll make a motion that we dissolve the Phase 2 subcommittee.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Jeremy, to dissolve the Phase 2 Subcommittee. Do we need a roll call? In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's gone. The SEMCOG. They have the delegate and alternate. That one that... Any information on that one? Anyone know about that one?
Dumont was on it.
Yeah.
Dumont on it?
Brian was delegate and Dave was the alternate.
With the alternate, yeah. And I'm not aware, during the period of time that I've been here, I don't think anyone from the village has attended any of the SEMCOG annual meetings or anything like that. Not to say that it couldn't be done, but I don't think they have been attending. So, again, we're not required to have a delegate, but if someone wants to step up, you can, so.
Anybody want to step up?
So it's Southeast Michigan Council of Government, in case anyone doesn't know. And it's a body that discusses all kinds of governmental issues. They take a lot of statistics, they do a lot of record keeping to understand demographics and services in different communities. It's a very versatile organization, useful.
And I would say maybe a little bit more hands-on than the Michigan Municipal League.
Yes.
A little more specific.
Right.
For example, I had a webinar this morning that was presented by SEMCOG on artificial intelligence. So they've been involved. I've gotten notices about other events they've had regarding electric vehicles. They're very actively involved in mass transit issues. As Jennifer said, just a variety of things on their plate.
It's a great organization. I mean, in the legal field, we use them quite a bit for resources to understand what the communities are doing and what the trends are. And this, I think, is for their annual, to be a delegate. But they do have, I think, monthly or quarterly meetings even.
Which I think are normally held in Detroit. So,
Yeah, they're downtown, I
yeah.
think. But
Yeah.
Any feedback from you, being previous delegate?
They've got a lot of stuff available. I mean, there's a lot, like this said, there's a lot of resources available. Got emails, a lot of emails.
I mean, they use their video, do some webinars.
You can do what you want with it.
I mean, we don't technically have to have a committee in order to utilize their services, correct?
No, correct.
So I make a motion that we dissolve the SEMCOG committee.
Well, I don't think this is a committee. I think
Yeah.
this is
Oh.
just the
Delegate.
designation of a delegate and an alternate
So
to
on
SEMCOG. If
they
they're-
have meeting on an annual basis, and if you're a community that has a delegate, whatever matters the communities
I
are
gotcha.
voting on, then your delegate or your alternate would go to that annual
then
meeting to
vote.
vote.
I gotcha.
Can it be an employee that does it? Because I'd be willing to be an
I'm not sure. I'd have to look at that. We never had that question before, Jennifer.
So it's not a no employee, we just don't, we have to look it up.
Have to look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, have to look it up.
Yeah, it's usually an elected official that, from the bodies that goes as the delegate, but I've never heard an employee doing that, but that doesn't mean it's not allowed, so.
Yeah, we can look into it.
It's
So,
representative
I
still.
mean, this isn't a real-time sensitive issue.
Right.
Technically, yes, like an admin.
The opening on Pathway Committee. Is that another one that,
Hasn't met in a long time,
right,
Not as long as I've been here.
right.
has validity, but it's, at this point, all the pathway stuff is pretty costly or very difficult to actually accomplish, I mean, without significant capital kind of things. I don't know if it might be needed, but I'm not sure it's necessarily one that'll, I mean, it can stay and exist, but I don't think it'll necessarily end up meeting.
I'll volunteer for it.
Make a motion to nominate Mark Duff for the Western Oakland County Road and Bike Path.
Second?
Motion by Newman, second by O'Brien. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Mark.
I'm sorry, was that, just so I'm clear, was that?
Pathway Committee.
Was that was the
Pathway.
Pathway Committee, okay. So,
Pathway Committee. Yes, now we're down to the Western Oakland County Road and Bike Path. Mr. Dumont had that one also.
and again, another group that hasn't met during the period of time that I've been the administrator.
I think that came to be from the whole Rails to Trails program. It was quite some time ago. Airstream, airline.
Never met.
I'll make a motion that we dissolve the Western Oakland County Road and Bike Path Committee.
Second?
Motion by Duff, second by O'Brien, to dissolve the Western Oakland County Road and Bike Path Committee. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That was one. I think it covers Police Hiring Board, that's Chief Sovic. There's a Huron River watershed. It's a vacant.
My understanding is from the discussion that's been had at the water board meetings that that's traditionally been a member of the Water Management Board.
Okay.
When Mike Sargent was on, up until a few years ago, I believe, he was the village representative. And again, as I recall, a couple of the current members have talked about potentially volunteering to serve as the watershed representative, but it hasn't really gone any further than that at the Water Management Board level.
I know that Mike Sargent had issues even getting responses from them about when they were meeting or how to engage. So and I think maybe that's probably why it fell off when he left, since he was the only one really pursuing it and wasn't having much success on their end, from the other end.
I mean, we're still a member of the Watershed
Yeah.
Council. In fact, I got an email from one of the leaders over there the other day about something. So whether we have a representative to the organization, we're still a member, so.
Does it, gonna be a liaison? Is there a conflict if it's a liaison who gets nominated for it? Or it has to be one of the other members of the water board?
I don't believe there are any restrictions, at least not that I'm aware of, so.
Yeah, this one, I know a resident can actually do this, or a staff member too, because in other communities, that's what is going on. And she actually reports to the governing body in that community monthly, so, Milford, but they have Huron River running right through it, so.
Do we want to reach out to all the board members on the water board and see if any of them want to volunteer for it? And then table this nominee until next meeting?
Well, I think you probably have to table it longer than that, because the Water Management Board isn't going to meet again now until February or March, I forget which. So we can bring the issue back up with them when they start to reconvene. But in terms of Open Meetings Act and things like that, to get consensus or direction from them, we'd have to wait until they start meeting again, so.
So a motion to table until the next regularly convened water board meeting?
Or just no action at this point in time, it would be no action.
Likewise.
So,
Leave it as is. Thank you.
As far as the Lakes Area Youth Assistance, I'm just wondering, are you guys engaged with them at all currently, or?
They, for whatever reason, couldn't afford to pay for the Zoom meetings anymore, and I work in Clarkson, so that was the only way I could attend the meetings. I am retiring in April 1st, and I was gonna make the attempt to be able, I should be able to go to the meetings at that point.
I had never been contacted. I had no idea when the meetings are. No one's ever told me.
Actually, it was me and Mike McNutt that were on that board, but same issue. He's, he has to attend from work.
When are the meetings?
They're on Wednesdays, usually around noon.
it was a lunchtime meeting. I
It was
believe,
a lunchtime meeting, but they lost their Zoom thing, so.
Every
for whatever
week?
reason. Yeah, no, once a month. But you can attend right at the Wild Lake office over there, the education office, over by the big water tower on Maple.
Oh.
And, Pontiac
Yeah,
Trail.
I'm more than willing to go if I know about it and, time, place, and where. I could make that. But no one's ever told me where.
They do a great job. It's really worthwhile.
I know. I know, it's a good organization, but I've,
It's just hard, the meeting times is difficult.
well, I'm retired, I can do it.
I'm trying to remember every year, Leah sends us a list of their current members, and they ask us to approve those. And when I say us, I mean council. Council does it. In the last couple of years, I don't think we've had a representative on the group that has been approved. So maybe what I need to do is to reach out to Leah and see if they're still interested in having someone from council serve in the group.
Okay.
Or as a member of their board, or exactly whatever the title would be. So. I mean, I agree, it's a very good organization. We support them every year. Maybe let me find out exactly what they would like to get from us. And then I can report back to you and let you know.
Okay.
So,
Next meeting.
yes. Assuming they're working over the holidays, yes.
I'm sure. All right, anything else with the council committee assignments?
So back to zoning, if I want to put my name in the hat there, how would we go about talking through that?
Yeah, as it stands right now, Mr. Duff has been the liaison to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Ms. Laybourne has been an appointed member. Again, now that she's on council, as I mentioned before, state law doesn't allow two elected officials to be on the zoning board. So the alternative would be if Mr. Duff was to step down, then Ms. Laybourne could be the liaison. On the other hand, if Ms. Laybourne was to be the liaison, then Mr. Duff wouldn't be able to serve on the zoning board anymore.
So I guess the discussion is, Mark, you want to step down?
Prefer not to.
Okay. Any discussion?
Well, my only thought is, there's so many committees, and, Mark and Aaron Newman are on quite a few of them. Can we spread that around a little bit? That's just a thought. See, because you have, Mark on audit and finance, Mark on the negotiating, Mark on administrative. Some of them make sense to combine. What was it?
Well, in the same token, Aaron, is that the only committee that you could actually work on? You couldn't work on one of these other
No.
ones where we need someone? Or
I
needed
wasn't
someone?
aware that there was any other vacancies.
Well, people were,
Yeah, I was actually gonna put my name in the hat for Leah, since I have a previous relationship with them, if there was a need for that.
Yeah,
But I think
yeah.
we'll wait to hear back from Dave what that need might be from a Leah perspective,
Right.
but I have a previous relationship.
I'm
there.
sure they would love to have somebody from here. And especially if you can make their meetings. So,
Oh, there's room for two. We could both be on it. That's fine with me.
Well, it means,
It's hard for you anyway, Bill, you said.
it is, you're right. Yeah, there's no way I could attend.
So are you dropping off of that committee then?
Right now, I don't think there is anybody on the committee, because if you miss, the way it worked was, if you weren't there for 3 meetings, then they had the right to remove you from the committee. So we got bought up by a private equity company, and my job became heck, and then they lost their video thing, so the only way to do it was to call from a cell phone, which...
It's hard.
It's tough, and then on top of that, I've been working tons of overtime and stuff like that, so it just became impossible.
So I guess procedurally this evening, Leah may not, and Dave can look into that, have anyone designated for the village, but the village has 2 people on its own committee for that. So any one of these committees tonight, even if there's not a vacancy, it just takes a motion to nominate someone to be a member of that committee, or that these following people be members of the committee.
Right, but for Leah, though, they have to admit you.
Right, but what I'm saying
Or your
is,
committee is nothing.
yeah, you're
right,
not a committee,
but
it's a representative.
you're
from a-
not in control of Leah, you're in control of your committee, and right now you have Pam and you
Right.
as committee members, so
Yeah.
if you
So
want
are you
to...
dropping off? of
Yeah,
the
I'll
committee?
drop off.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
okay,
I'll
so I'm just saying
nominate
you need a
Aaron
But what I'm
motion.
Labor.
saying is, there's nothing that would, if you're not accepted by them, there's actually nothing, it's not worth even having a committee. You can't do anything because they won't recognize you. But in the meantime, yeah, I'll step off that committee.
It's really more representatives, it's not necessarily a committee. You're
Yeah.
So I'll-
representing the village.
Yeah, it's not a committee.
I'll nominate Aaron Laybourne for Lakes Area Youth Assistant.
I second it.
Nomination by, second by
So,
Newman. All in
Aaron.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Covered with the committee assignments. Any other questions, any other discussions?
I did planning commission, she's gonna be on the Lakes Area Youth System.
Leah. Okay, other discussion? Thank you, everyone. Stepping up. 15C. Parks and Rec Board recommendation. Recommend council approve the farmer's market proposal.
Make a motion.
Second?
Motion by Doug.
Sure.
second by
So
Brian.
the farmer's market would occur on Tuesdays, running from June through September, maybe the first 2 weeks of October. Obviously, as the days get shorter, it'd be a little more difficult. The hours would be from 3 to 7:30. The reason for choosing Tuesdays was partially because we already have Tuesdays in the park, so we'd have a comfortable tie-in there. There's also no afternoon Tuesdays markets in the surrounding area. Spoken to several vendors, including produce vendors, and they are they would like to, they'd like to do it. It'd be really great for them. Looking at a fee range of maybe about $20 per week, or 17 if they pay ahead. I'm debating that it might be a little lower. Talking to some vendors who are heavily involved to get their feedback so that we don't price people out or anything like that. We'd then also offer up possibly for nonprofits to either attend once a month for free, or they could pay $10 per day if they'd like to. It'd be for about a 10 by 10 space, 20 by 10 for produce vendors. All vendors would be along the paths. So first the path, if you've ever been to the corn roast, the path leading up to the bathrooms, I'd have vendors running there, and then I'd have them along the back path. So every vendor's storefront would be facing the path, so people who are limited mobility-wise or otherwise would be able to easily access all the vendors. With the new addition of the park and the new pathway that was put when we put in the new playground, we're now able to facilitate that and make that run effectively. Still working on the number of vendors I'd have per event, but we do have quite a bit of space available. And then creating a little more formal documentation is the other things on the agenda still. In terms of cost, a little paint to spray the numbers out for folks, and then some banners and signage. And then one other thing we'd have to have is the bathrooms cleaned every Tuesday so that they're ready to go for the larger crowd.
So, Mark, you're saying this is every Tuesday, not once a month, just
This would be every
Tuesday in the
Tuesday.
park?
This would be every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
That's awesome.
And then we'd have the Tuesdays in the park would be like the kids' day as well. And that kind of solves that little thing right there as well.
It's a great idea, especially to mix them together, because you'll get better foot traffic, which will get you more vendors. And I know my wife, she hits all the farmer markets. She goes to Royal Oak at least once or twice a month, and Wild Lake on every Wednesday, and, you know, and what's the other big one over in
Milford and
Farmington?
Yeah, Farmington.
Hills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trying to compete with them because that's a losing battle.
Yeah,
But
theirs is, and they're partially indoors too.
yeah, can't pull that off here. But and I figure with the traffic on Benstein, there'll be a nice promotion to get. I'm thinking of some kind of coming up with something saying, hey, get out of the traffic and get out of the jam.
Yeah.
And then it'd be some nice revenues for Park and Rec for some of those smaller acquisitions we want to look at in terms of finishing off some of those little things on the park as well.
Good idea.
So,
I like the hours too.
Yeah.
The hours.
yeah.
The 11 to 2. Snooze there. Okay, motion?
Motion by
Yeah,
Bill, second.
we already have a motion.
We already have a motion.
Yeah, we're in discussion. So is there any
So roll call.
cost to this up front?
Not really. I mean, maybe some banners and stuff, but nothing
Okay.
significant.
Nothing that would fall outside of budgeted.
Nothing that would suddenly make Jen's hair fall out or anything. No, it's pretty, keeping it, especially for the first year, keeping it relatively minimal. And then obviously there's gonna be some costs with just documentation and all that, but Park and Rec, so.
That work?
Maybe put on the website.
I already posted it. I threw it out a question on Facebook about it and got a very, I'm surprised it didn't break Facebook. It was so positive to have nothing but universal positive opinions from the crowd, so that was good to see her. So we have a lot of residents who would really like to see it, and I know the pickleballers have already said they're gonna start doing their weekly game on Tuesdays instead, if we have this, so. Parking full.
All right. That's a nice one. That's it. Let's have a roll call because that involves some funds.
Pop,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Biznacki.
Yes.
Claiborne. Yes. McNutt.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
We had removed D. And so now we're on to E, the payment recommendation for Michigan recreational construction.
And this is payment for the work that they've completed in connection with the grant that the village received through the Michigan Natural Resource Trust Fund a couple of years ago. So, and really, they did a bang-up job over there. The play equipment, the whole area looks great.
That's fantastic.
To make a motion that we pay, let's see, John McDonald, Mac Lane Design?
No, the payment is actually to Michigan Recreational
Oh,
Construction.
Michigan, sorry, Michigan.
He'd love it if we paid him that
There
much.
you go. For 198, 105, and 0 cents.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Newman. Any discussion? Roll call.
Dave, is there, just curious, is there like a warranty or anything on the plantings and things that they put in?
I believe there is. I'd have to double check what the specifics are though, yeah.
Okay.
And I think for all the work that they've done, yeah.
Just curious to see what survives.
Usually it's 24 months, right?
Depends, yeah,
New
sometimes.
plantings.
Yeah. I'll double check, and if I need to, I'll contact Jason. We can find out and let you know.
Great.
So,
Okay, roll call.
Newman,
Yes.
Jeremini,
Yes.
Hisnacki,
Yes.
Claiborne,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
as long as we're talking Michigan recreational construction, if anybody has been over in the area of Amenia Park this week, you'll see that the swing sets have been installed. They're still snow fenced off. The footings are still settling, and it's not ready for play yet. There's a bike rack that's being installed over there too. That's MRC. It's the same company that we've been working with to get that done pursuant to authorization that council gave earlier this year. And then to circle back then to Claire Miller Park, I know I've been kind of keeping you advised as emails, but just for the benefit of the audience or anyone at home too, there are two other pieces of play equipment that we had ordered, the spinners, which are going to go in the area adjacent to the new play equipment where the engineered wood fiber is over there. And we're just waiting for the state to approve the actual grant work. And then MRC will get that back on their calendar, and they'll get out and get the two spinners and installed. They've indicated to me that's probably a one-day job. That'll be a relatively quick project when the time comes. So.
All right, so we're on to F, the website redesign proposal. Revise.
Our current contract with Revise for management of our website is expiring at the end of the year. We're due for an update anyway through them, so Tabitha Linsenmeyer and I met with a representative probably early last month to find out what our options were going forward. And as I've outlined in the memo here, we subsequently received a proposal to continue to manage our website for 1, 3, or 5 years at a cost of $2,880 per year, which is a slight increase over what we're currently paying, but given that that agreement is 5 years old, it's probably to be expected. Along with that, there are some other features that they talked to us about, as I've laid out here. One is a curated search function, which they could build into the updated website. The second is an artificial intelligence chatbot to try to answer any questions that anyone who links onto the website comes across. And then also possibly some interactive fillable forms. And again, there's a fee involved with all of those things.
In addition to the monthly.
In addition to the annual fee, it's for, depending upon which feature, there's a setup fee or an annual fee or both. So we've talked about this upstairs. I think our sense is that the curated search function we think might be a good addition. That's a one-time setup fee. And curated search basically means you go into the website and you put in some search terms or something, keywords, and then we'll have some basically pre-programmed, if you will, responses on the website. So if someone goes in and says, how do I get a building permit? Or how do I file a FOIA request? Or something like that. And Revise will work with us to help develop what those curated responses are going to be. But our sense upstairs is that that would be a good way for us to be able to provide answers to our residents outside of regular business hours when we're not available to answer questions. And also, to be perfectly honest too, it will maybe increase our efficiency a little bit more because we won't be answering phone calls and responding to emails for the same kinds of questions over and over and over again. So for the one-time fee, we think the curated search function might be worthwhile. The chatbot, $2,400 a year. We've probably all used chatbots on some website we've dealt with, and personally, my opinion, I mean, AI is definitely coming. The website, the SEMCOG webinar that I had this morning was really eye-opening, but $2,400 to us seems like an awful lot to pay for a chatbot when we are available to answer questions that maybe wouldn't be answered if we do the curated search function. So we're not really in favor of the chatbot at this point. Finally, in terms of the interactive fillable forms, I don't know why I can't say that, but we really don't have many that we use. I mean, there are temporary storage structure permits. Our practice, as long as I've been here, before I was here, and at this point going forward, is that with building permits, we don't allow those to be filed electronically. We require an original signature. That would be the biggest area where...
Plus, they need a payment with it, right?
And we need a payment, too. And even if you could make the payment with a credit card, it still doesn't deal with the original signature. So we don't think that that's really a valid option for us either.
But
So-
you could load the PDF form and use the curated search function to take them to the PDF form where they could open it, type it in real nice so you can read it real good, and bring it to the village along with their check.
Yes.
And make your life easier.
Yep.
And theirs.
Yes, absolutely. So, and in terms of the 1, 3, or 5 years, given it's the same amount for each of the years, we thought it would make sense to lock in the price for a period of 5 years also. If we do lock in the 5-year contract, at the end or during the course of the 5 years, we will also get a free website update. So, whereas you don't get that with the 1 year or 3 year. So, my recommendation is that we go with the 5-year program with the curated search function.
Make a motion that we go with the 5-year agreement, and then the
2880.
Yeah, 2880, and then the additional 1750 for the setup for the curated search function.
Second that.
Motion by Deb, second by Brian. Any discussion?
Yeah, I had a couple thoughts. So maybe down the road, you did decide you wanted either that AI or the interactive syllable forms. You could probably even add that next year or the year after.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not you have to do it now or not at all, right?
Well, no, it's not an hour never
Right.
type thing. No, we could always pick up. So,
And then I know if this company, okay, is responsible for, or is there another organization or company that's responsible for the emails that are sent out of the village to the residents? Because I know personally 2 people who have asked repeatedly to be added to the email list. They're not getting the emails. Is this the same company or is this something else?
you know, that I don't know. Jennifer, do you know?
Have they checked your spam?
I am not sure, but yeah, I think they've signed up online.
They
Yeah,
sign
they
up
can,
on
you
their
can.
site.
Is there any chance there was a typo in the email address? Nothing?
Well, one of them sitting in the audience.
You don't get
Tried
it?
twice. I was on it for years, and then all of a sudden, I haven't gotten anything all year. And I tried it once, came in and talked to Tabitha, and she just said, try again, I did. And I know about the Halloween, the decoration, Christmas decoration, because I'm on Park and Rec. I've not gotten anything about it. I haven't gotten about any of the snakes, and nothing.
Okay, well, call us, and we will make sure that we'll contact the company, make sure
Okay,
it gets
thank you,
added.
appreciate it.
So-
I've tried.
Any other ones
Why it was
like that?
kicked off, I have no idea.
And it's not
I
going to
know that's a
spam
bad
file.
omen.
Yeah, that's the,
I mean, and the other one's Vicki Knight. She is repeatedly asked to be added to
yeah.
the email. So,
They've checked the spam file and it's not being kicked to there inadvertently.
I don't know, do you check spam?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know
Spam,
about
trash.
that.
Yeah, so it's not being kicked to
So-
there. Okay.
I mean, I'm thinking, I know 2, I wonder how many other people may have tried, and
But
there's
I
a
was on
glitch
it for
somewhere.
years. I was on it for years, and all of a sudden, they just quit coming. So I wouldn't as if I made a mistake.
Right.
But,
Was that recently? About
Over a
8
year.
weeks ago?
It's been a
It's over
year.
I've been trying a year and a half to get them. I'm still not getting them.
That sounds like a coding issue.
Yeah.
Are you guys using AOL, or what is the last part, the suffix?
Safari?
No,
No, no, no.
you have
Comcast.
Comcast, yeah.
Oh, Comcast should be fine.
MishaWolverineLake.com. Still not getting them.
You know, I'm going to have to follow up with
I'd have to take that
the
personal.
sales rep that we met with about the website services in general, I can ask him. And he may not know, he may have to point me in somebody else's direction at the company, but I can find out if they're the same ones.
Okay.
And see if there's any explanation for what the problem might be.
That's probably alphabetical or something.
I mean, yeah.
Or they just ran out of
Okay.
domain.
And we're still due one update from the current contract, right?
Yes, yes.
Dave, do you know how many folks are actually visiting the site on a monthly basis? Do they provide that level of detail?
I think the information's available on the website, to be honest with you. I'm not sure where
Just
to
curious.
look for it, but I think it is available.
We're able to look for that. If we
Yeah.
have, curious
Yeah,
about
just curious,
that.
like,
Yeah.
if we ever decided to look at those other two options, like, we probably want to have like a benchmark of so many people visiting the site per month to make it even make sense to entertain a cost like that.
Call us in the office, we'll find out for you.
Yeah, and then Pam, to your point too, for example, I just got this the other day, because I'm on their mailing list now, but it's a public service request system that they offer, where you can call and you can, would be a link on the website where you can go, hey, there's a tree down blocking my street, or there's a garbage can that's been spilled over in the park, something like that, instead of somebody having to call and talk to us and then us distribute the information in-house. It receives the information and then directs it to, so there are a variety of services they offer.
have
We can pick up
something that does
additional
that.
services at any time.
Yeah.
So,
We do have something that does that every now and then. I'll get one for park stuff. I don't know where they find it on the webpage, but it's some weird,
If it's got
and it goes to
delivery
you
or
and
what it
me.
is, yeah.
And it's very obscure, like
Yeah.
once or twice a year it'll come out. I don't know where they're finding it, but, so it's something on the site that there must be, that people have found this. There must be some kind of contact us button. But I'm not sure if it has anything to do with that, or
Yeah, I think it's
Something
something
completely
different, but, yeah,
it would be nice to have something that would be
Yeah.
where they knew where to go to.
something that's easy to find,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, perfect time to do it.
So we already have a motion and a second, so roll call.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Tesnecki?
Yes.
Claiborne? Yes. McNutt?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Duff?
Yep.
Citizen, 2024 Citizen of the Year nomination process.
It's that time of year again, so we will be opening up for nominations for the 2024 Citizen of the Year here in the village. We'll get the nomination form, which accompanied the cover memo that I put together. We'll get that posted on the website so people can print that out, fill it out, and bring it back in. They can come into office, fill up the form. They can email it to my email address. They can fax them to the village hall, whatever is convenient for them. But then the newly formed administrative committee, we will meet on Wednesday, January 8th, after our regular council meeting that night, because nominations close at 5 o'clock that afternoon. So I will gather up all the nominations that have come in. We'll meet with the administrative committee that night, and then we, the administrative committee, will bring forward a recommendation for the 2024 Citizen of the Year at the February 2025 council meeting.
So have we sent out an email to the village on this?
Not yet. We wanted to get council approval on the process first.
I thought I had, would it be possible, maybe to put a list of either the past 5 years or the past 10 years, or who have won? So, I mean, people may not have known, they maybe wanted to nominate somebody that's already won. I think that would be a nice piece of information to add.
Yeah, we
somewhere.
can-
Like if you just want to go back 5 years or 10 years, I don't care, but I think there should be a note as to, you know, it doesn't have to be splattered all over it, but I mean, just somewhere in the note.
Yeah, we can include the information about some prior winners, sure.
Yeah.
That doesn't preclude somebody from nominating someone that's already won, right?
That's correct. I'm just going over the,
Mr. President?
Previous year's winner is not eligible for
We should have
nomination.
a motion and a second before we're in discussion.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
One more, so motion to
Just to approve the
approve the
process.
process.
Motion.
By Duff.
Second.
Second by Brian. Discussion. Thank you, Mark.
No problem.
I just had a question. With that process, would then all members have access to all the, I guess, nominations that come in after the recommendation? Or what would that look like once it comes to us after the recommendation is made? Are we going to get a listing of all the presidents that are
Yeah.
recommended?
I'm trying to remember, I believe typically what I provided everyone on council with is the recommendation from the administrative committee and also a copy of all of the nominations that came in.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Accept the process. H, Department of Public Works, maintenance labor position.
Last month, council adopted a resolution recognizing Doug Worster, who's retiring from the Department of Public Works at the end of this month after 28 and a half years of service to the village. We wanted to keep the process moving. We don't want to get caught short when heavy snow starts to fall, so we've been moving the process through. Andy Stone, the maintenance leader, and I interviewed all four of the applicants. The four applications that we had received. We did receive one well after the deadline, but the four that were received in a timely manner, we interviewed those four last Thursday, and based upon the interviews, all four were qualified, and I think Andy and I felt that all four of them could possibly work in the Department of Public Works, but there was one in particular that we felt stood out above the others. At the table tonight, I provided you with a copy of the cover letter, the resume, and the application for employment that he had submitted, just to give you a sense. It's a young man who lives over in White Lake, who has extensive experience in landscaping and snow removal and things like that. Again, we think he potentially could be a very good employee here at the village for a very long time. We're recommending that the village authorize the hire of Blake Higgins as the next maintenance laborer in the Department of Public Works.
Make a motion that we hire Blake Higgins of White Lake as the new maintenance
Laborer?
Yeah, full-time maintenance labor, based off of recommendations from Andy Stone and the administrator.
I'll second.
Motion by Duff, second by Newman. Any discussion with it? Oh, roll call.
Yes.
Chesnecki?
Yes.
Mayborn, yes. McNutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
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 I've already had some preliminary discussion with Mr. Higgins. I'll have some more with him tomorrow, but what we're expecting is he probably will start work on Thursday, January 2nd. So right after the New Year's holiday is over. We'll get him on board, we'll put him to work.
Excellent.
Right on. I, Aquatic Plant Control, Water Quality Monitoring and Project Administration Services, and Progressive Companies.
This is a proposal from Progressive Companies, which we used to know as Progressive AE. They rebranded themselves, but this is Paul Hausler's company and the lake management services that they have provided to the village for a number of years. This would be a 2-year contract at a cost of $22,000 per year. Typically what we would do, we would run this through the Water Management Board for a formal recommendation from the board as to the renewal of the contract. The timing of things this year, the proposal from Paul Hausler came in after the Water Management Board had had its last meeting of the year, so they weren't actually able to consider this as a group. If you recall, at our last council meeting, Ryan Martini, who's the chair of the Water Board, was here and gave us a very detailed report on all their activities. while Ryan was here that night, I grabbed him and pulled him off to the side because he had been copied on the correspondence from Paul Hausler as well and said, hey, you saw that? Yes, I did. Can you think of any reason why the village should not go ahead and renew the agreement with Progressive Companies? And Ryan said he saw no reason at all. He thinks that we're getting good service from them. And as chairman of the water board, he has recommended that we renew the agreement, and as the administrator, I agree with that recommendation.
Make a motion that we use Progressive Companies for a grand total of $22,000 a year as
2
our
years.
professional aquatic control and water control monitor
For a 2-year term.
for 2 years. Yep.
Motion by Duff, second, was there a second?
Kazmicki, thank you.
Second by Kazmicki. Any discussion with that? Roll call.
Yes.
Rayborn?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Police Department IT support, Enterprise Computer Solutions.
Ready. Remember Chief Ellsworth used to talk about niceties and necessities? And while you guys have definitely afforded us some niceties, the police department over the years, this is one of those things that it's a complete necessity. I can't think of any other police department that doesn't have a designated IT support person or a team that's in it. And so, with all of the technology updates and, with Clemis and the feds and MSP requiring such high security, we're just, Sergeant Marosco and I are in over our heads. When we get these updates they want us to do, the first thing they do is say, please forward this to your IT support team. So the first thing I do is, hey, Sergeant Marosco, you ready to pull your hair out again? Because here it comes. And so we did some interviewing, and we're pretty confident we found the right guy here with Enterprise Computer Solutions. And one of those ways to actually pay for that is, back in the budget workshop, you guys approved $45,000 for line item 101-301-930.000, building repairs and maintenance, to do some updates around the station and for the locker room separation, for several other projects that actually needed to get done. And so we have most of those projects done. We have actually everything done except for the locker room update, and I just received another quote on that today. So after that project is approved and paid for, we will have plenty of money left over in that line item, which will cover this expenditure. And so this is something that we need to get done as soon as possible, because we will be having our lien audit sometime soon. And if we can get somebody on board sooner than later, that would be fantastic. What I do like about the Enterprise Computer Solutions is that the payment. We pay X amount for hours for X amount of money, and we can use that in 10 days or 10 months or 2 years. We're not automatically paying for a monthly bill when we don't need those services. So we're pretty happy with him. We interviewed 3 companies, and we would really like to go with Enterprise Computer Solutions.
Motion. Oh,
Motion. You want to talk? Motion?
all right, motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Motion by O'Brien, second by Duff. Discussions.
Make a motion on something I'm concerned about, though. I see that he's in Rochester, so he's going to be dialing in with the user ID and the password?
He will be remoting in. 95% of the work that we have done, it can be done remotely.
Right, I understand it, but he's going to have a user ID and a password to get into our system, which makes the system susceptible to being hacked if he's not careful with the password. So I'm assuming they showed you the appropriate insurances that they have for cybersecurity, that in the event that they were to get social security numbers, names, addresses, things that could be damaging.
He has the login remote software has been certified by the state. He also works for other police departments and other agencies, and he has been vetted for this type of work. So we feel we're very confident that his security measures that he has in place are no risk to us.
Okay.
I guess just to follow up on Mr. O'Brien's comment, it probably wouldn't hurt to get a certificate of insurance from him.
Absolutely.
As well.
Any other discussion? You want to amend the motion on approval of the certificate of insurance?
I I don't think we need to. I'm sure he's got his, we should just get it. I'm sure he's got it. If he's doing other.
I'd feel more comfortable if we amended the motion to say that we approve them once we have the certificate of insurance.
Okay.
Or approve it subject to.
Yeah, subject to.
So make a motion to approve the expenditure for Enterprise Computer Solutions, subject to obtaining a valid insurance certificate covering to the administrator's satisfaction.
Reasonable satisfaction.
Reasonable satisfaction.
I'll second that.
Motion by O'Brien, second by Duff. Okay, any other discussions on the new motion? Okay, roll call.
Claiborne?
Yes.
McNutt?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
President?
Yes.
I do appreciate the finding the funds that were already budgeted and using it wisely, so thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Council.
Now we're at edit O for the,
Oh, we're still up at item K.
Okay.
okay, did I miss it? Oh, yes, K, sorry, I had the wrong spot. Thanks, guys. Wrong spot. K, second reading and adoption of ordinance 106A-124. And this is an ordinance to amend section 1240.08. It's rules of construction definitions. Chapter 124, it's for the signs ordinance.
Yeah, these are zoning ordinance amendments related to signage. And the first, 106.8.124, this is amendments to the definitional sections of the zoning ordinance.
I'll make a motion that we approve the reading and adoption of ordinance 106A-124 and amend section 1240.08.
Second.
Motion by Duff, second by Newman. Any roll call for that?
No.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. L, second reading and adoption of ordinance 106A-126. And it's an ordinance to amend chapter 1276, signs of and title for zoning and scheme for, again, the signs.
And these are the substantive amendments to the zoning ordinance itself.
I'll make a motion that accept the reading and adoption of ordinance 106A-126 with a change in the chapter of 1276.
I'll second that.
Motion by Newman, second by Duff. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Second call to the public. This opportunity for citizens to address the council regarding village business. We have none, so pass.
The guy in a Hawaiian shirt doesn't want to say something?
Oh, I think he does. I think he does. Set topics for the December 2024 work session.
Nothing personal, council, but I have nothing that I want to discuss with you on December 25th.
I make a motion we cancel the December 25th.
Motion by Kasdek, second by Newman, to cancel the work session on December 25th. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we're at O. Got ahead of myself.
Council, thanks for adding this as a discussion item tonight. Just to give you a little bit of background on this, we received a call earlier this year from someone affiliated with the church who indicated that they wanted to be able to operate a daycare center inside the church. And we took a look at the zoning ordinance. We reached out to our planning consultant, Sally Elmiger over at Carlisle Workman. She took a look at the ordinance, and the bottom line is that the zoning over at Shepherd of the Lakes is RM1 multiple family, and daycares are not permitted in the RM1 district. So there would have been some kind of an ordinance amendment that would have been necessary, either a rezoning of the property or an amendment of the permitted uses within the RM1 district to allow the daycare to go forward. That was really, when we advised the caller about that, that was really the end of it. That was, the issue didn't go any further on their end. So the issue sat then until probably the last month or so ago, when Tabitha upstairs got a call from someone about, again, operating a daycare for what they said was autistic children in the church. I wasn't in the office that particular day. The issue just kind of sat until I was back in the office the next day, and I ended up speaking to the attorney whose letter is included in the correspondence, who is representing the young lady who's on the document I left at the table tonight, Laura. And again, the program that she's developed is one to deal with elementary and middle school children who have autistic issues. I suppose probably the use could be broader than that in theory. I guess the devil would be in the details down the road. But that's really what they're proposing. I again followed up with Sally Elmiger over at Carlisle Whitman. I talked with Jennifer as well. Sally is very familiar with the type of use with this particular program, if you will. She said in their other communities, they treat it as an educational use. So, again, going back to the zoning ordinance, an educational use is not permitted in the multiple family district either. So in order for this type of use to be allowed in the church, there again would have to be some kind of a zoning ordinance amendment. Either the zoning on the property would have to be changed to something that would allow an educational use. The educational use really, as it turns out, is only allowed in the single-family districts in the village. And really, if you look at the property up there, it wouldn't make sense to do any single-family rezoning up there. I mean, you've got multiple family up there, you've got a little bit of commercial. The other option that Sally suggested as a possibility would be to amend the language within the multiple family zoning district to allow an educational use, probably as either like maybe a special use or an accessory use, something where you could put a number of conditions on the use, a number of restrictions. Thinking off the top of the head, she said probably as to the amount of square footage that they would be allowed to use, to make sure that the use would always be secondary to some other use over at the property. Conceptually, I don't think any of us, I'm going to speak for myself and also for Sally and maybe for Jennifer too, we don't see any objection or problem with the idea of having a daycare in a church. It's common in other communities. I mean, some of my kids went to daycare in a church setting, in a different community. So in some ways it seems to make sense. The bottom line is, in order for any of this to move forward at all, what we really need to do is to send this over to the Planning Commission and let the Planning Commission take a look at it and then have some discussion. And then if the Planning Commission feels that this is something that ought to be permitted, for them to figure out what the best way is to do that with input and guidance from our planners. So, on the other hand, if you think this is something that council really doesn't have any interest in allowing at all, then it really wouldn't make sense to refer to the Planning Commission, because there's no reason for them to do the work on it. If, I know it's early on, but if the thinking at the council table is that we wouldn't approve this anyway. But again, my recommendation, my thinking is, let's send it to planning, let's see what they come up with, and let's see if this is potentially something that we do want to allow in the village. I think we should consider it anyway.
I definitely think so too. Whether it's daycare or whether it's, I know our church in town, has meetings, there's AA meetings in the evening, and I don't know if that would be considered part of this. I mean, there are all kinds of, and then we do a thing for the homeless in Oakland County. And then, Bible studies, I'm surprised when they don't have Bible studies there, at night, for their parishioners and stuff. So, I mean, I think it's very worthwhile, very needed to be able to have, not to tie their hands in doing something that's very positive. I think it's a great idea.
Before you send it to planning now, you might want to contact them and just make sure that they've checked, because, not my current church, but a church I used to go to is on the board, and we put a daycare in, and two things happened. One, the state came in and said we had to have an industrial kitchen to have the daycare, to be able to prepare food, and the other thing was, I forget the exact details, but the 501c3 was put in jeopardy if it wasn't handled perfectly. So the church could lose its tax exempt status. I don't know if it had to do with like the number of kids based on the number of people in the church or what it was, but there was something to that. Because I just remember when we were looking at it, it was a long time ago, so I don't remember all the details. But I just remember the kitchen was going to cost a fortune. And then there was all this stuff about the 501c3, and because unless you're not charging for it, if you're not charging for it, it's probably fine. But the thing was, we were going to charge to provide daycare. Well, now you've got a business.
Well, in my understanding is that there would be a charge for this, that it probably would go to insurance, because the church is planning, as Jennifer caught in her review, the church is planning to charge a rent for this company to be able to use the property. So this is clearly commercial.
Right.
And that's really the church's concern.
And
Right.
that is the church's concern. That's between
It
the
is, but
landlord and the tenant.
Right. But before we go through a whole bunch of effort, we should probably make sure that legally or whatever, they can do that without jeopardizing. We don't need to find out for them. If they say, yeah, we do, then we've already checked that, we're good. But you don't know who is prompting this. It could just be an idea someone's having,
Well, I think that, so the approach of taking it to Planning Commission and have them kind of explore adding to the district, whether it's a permitted or a special use or accessory use or however they're going to frame it, looking at it as to how it would apply to the whole community and not just a specific user. You just want to be careful not spot zoning. So although that's valid concerns, it's kind of on the church and the tenant to understand their 501c3 status and, who's making what profit. The village would be looking at, okay, is this something that we want in our village? Would this work for our properties? Would we have this use, a need for this use? Not specifically for yes, we're talking about it because this has come up, but it's more of a, do we want to change that text?
So it's not a big effort on our part to, I don't know much about the Planning Commission.
This is their role.
Okay.
To look at your zoning ordinance and, when they have issues come out of the ZBA quite often, the Planning Commission will look at those challenges and say, okay, let's look at the text in our ordinance and do some rewrites, because we're responsible for the zoning ordinance here. So this would be something that they would look at generally and consider, and maybe it's not good for the village, but they'd be the appropriate body to do that.
Yeah, and they would do that, again, with input and direction from our planning consultants, too.
Right.
Okay.
So we're just proposing to send it to them to check it out, to look.
To vet it, and if they think it's appropriate, to move forward and eventually bring something back to council for you to potentially approve, or not approve, as the case may be.
And Sally, your planning consultant, she already attends your planning commission meetings, so that's not an additional cost for you to have her there to guide that conversation either.
Yeah, there may be some research or work outside of the
Right.
planning commission meetings, but, yeah.
Personally, I think it's appropriate to send it to them.
So I guess what I would be looking for is just for a motion from council to refer this issue to the planning commission for their consideration.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Newman, second by O'Brien. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have no pending business?
No pending business, thank you.
Chief Sullivan.
Yes. First of all, I want to say thank you to Brian Nedrow for being part of that committee that actually brought me on a year and a half ago. It's been a pleasure working with you, and it's been great in the short amount of time I've been here, so thank you to you, and team success in your retirement from council. Appreciate your service. Aaron, welcome. Congratulations on the election. Looking forward to working with you for many more years, as well as the 3 that were re-elected. Looking forward to that as well. You are getting ready to go to Florida or head on south to for another destination for the winter. Please check in and grab a property checklist for us. You can get them online, or you can stop in the city hall and get them. Be more than happy to check your property while you're gone. The locker room update. We've had 4 companies come in, and I just received the quote from the 3rd company. I don't think we're going to get one from the 4th for various other reasons. It's another conversation, but I will be bringing something to you for new business in January to approve that construction project that's coming up pretty soon. Tomorrow we have another interview for a co-responder. Apparently this person is really well qualified. They're moving in from the Denver area, has been doing the co-responder out in Denver area for many years, and so we're hoping to have somebody come on join the team fairly soon. We also have a couple more interviews scheduled for next week, so hopefully that should be getting here sooner than later. And just a reminder, no parking on the streets from 2 to 6 a.m. Please help our DPW with the snow coming, the inclement weather, and the ice. It's going to be better if you guys are not on there. And if you are on there, we will give you a nice little paper reminder not to park there any longer. Other than that, just Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and have a safe holiday, and look forward to re-meeting you in January. And that's all I have, Mr.
Well,
President.
we've been working on the audit, and it has been going on really good. We had some really good work days with Rena, so we're looking forward to that in January. And just to bring to your attention, there's been a lot of fraud in the area. This time of year is a ton of fraud, and one of the latest frauds is people, well, it's not even latest, it's old actually. They steal mail out of mailboxes, and if there's a check in there, what they do is these groups of people take like hundreds of them, and they have really sophisticated scanners. They scan the checks, and what they call it washing checks. And they just clear the name right off the checks, and they put their, a name in a bit, to deposit it to, and it goes to another state, and it gets deposited. And this happened to us, and we, fortunately, we caught it, and nothing happened, but it was just a big eye-opener for us. So we are going to change some of the ways we do our checking, are doing our checks. For instance, if there's a check that's over a certain amount, we're going to ask people to come in and pick up their checks. We're not going to put it in the mail anymore. We're working on some processes in the office for doing more ACH transactions and with vendors. And that's a whole nother, area for fraud is people sending emails, telling you, oh, I've changed my bank account, will you change my ACH routing number and that sort of thing. And so we're just really buckling down and doing all we can to protect the village from any of this stuff. So you'll probably see some changes in the next couple months. And like I said, we're working on some policies so that we have really good checks and balances, and that we're going to be very careful with doing ACHs and making sure that if somebody, if like one of you, for instance, said, I changed my bank, so would you take this and try to give me the thing over email? I won't accept it from you. I'll make you come in, or I'll be calling you personally, and if I know you, then it's okay. But if I don't know you, then I'm going to have people come into the office with their banking information, because you can't take anything over email anymore. We've had all kinds of cyber attacks. We've had all kinds of stuff. We have cyber insurance, thank goodness, that you guys approved. Just, I think last year we had our first year, and this year we had a second year of carrying that insurance. But the fraud is becoming just more rampant, and it's just requiring us to take a lot more steps. And I'm sure you've heard in the news, there's been a lot of things happening with other communities, and people are getting hit all over the place. And so just to be extra, we're just going to be a little more vigilant, and we're not meaning to make anyone mad or anything like that by not putting it in the mail. And I would urge you guys too, the check we sent out was not a check inside the village that was stolen. It was stolen out of a mailbox in Wixom. So, but it could come here. So if you see somebody at mailboxes that you don't think belong there and are taking mail, call the police and let them know, I saw something suspicious or something. And the other thing is just grab your mail every day. Don't let it sit overnight if you can remember to get it each night. Because they are doing all kinds of bad stuff. They're stealing identities from the checks they get out of the mail. They're, all sorts of stuff. So I just want to make those what we're kind of dealing with. But like I said, nothing's happened to us. We're fine. But we are going to be tightening things up a little bit. So, and looking at our own internal processes and tweaking those so that we're as careful with the village's money as we can be. I want to say congrats to Erin, welcome aboard, and Brian, oh my gosh, I'm going to miss you so much. It was so much fun having you up here, so I'm going to miss you, but you've been a volunteer for years, as long as I've lived here, or worked here, and thank you for your service. And just congratulations on all that, and I wish everybody happy holidays, Merry Christmas, happy Hanukkah, and all those other things that we might celebrate. And I think that's it. Happy New Year.
Thank you. I just follow up quickly on a couple of Jennifer's comments. In terms of Raina, we will have Raina here for the audit, and just to put everyone at ease, there aren't any issues or problems. Raina didn't see any issues or problems. That's not why she isn't here tonight. It's not because there's something bad going on. Her problem is she just couldn't be in two places at the same time. That's all. But she said other than that, financially we're in good shape, and she'll give you more of the details when she's here in January. So a little bit of a sad note, if you hadn't heard, Dory Fredericks, who's the wife of Scott Fredericks, one of our Planning Commission members, she passed away last Wednesday. So I believe the service was over the weekend. But bottom line is, please, if everybody could keep Scott and their family and all their thoughts and prayers over the holiday. So recognize someone else too, the young lady sitting over to Mr. Powell's left, Tammy. Tammy, who has been acting as a recording secretary for one group or another here in the village, as I understand, since 2016. So for 8 years. She's getting ready to pursue another opportunity in a different area. So this will be Tammy's last meeting working for us here at the village. So Tammy, thanks a lot. But thanks for leaving. But no, seriously, congratulations on the other opportunity. We will miss you here, and we thank you for all your service.
Thank you.
And for everyone in the audience, if you know anyone who's interested in coming and trying to keep this group straight a couple times a month, reach out to me and let me know. But we will be posting something on the website. We will be looking for applicants, someone to try to fill Tammy's shoes. But thanks for everything.
Thank you.
So, and I've said it before, and I won't dwell on it again, but Mr. Nedrow, thank you. Notwithstanding that ugly shirt you have on tonight. But
festive.
Thank you for your years of service to the village, long before I was a resident here, but thank you very much. Thank you for the leadership here at the council table, and thank you for your friendship. I know you'll still be around and we'll still be friends, but I've really valued that, so. That's really all I have to say. I just hope everyone has a very happy and safe Christmas and New Year with all your family members. And congratulations to the four of you who are stuck with us here at the table for a few more years. But congratulations. Thank you.
Council comments. Let's start with Pam.
Okay. Thank you, Tammy. I think I'd heard that you were leaving, but I forgot all about it, so it's a good reminder. And we wish you luck in your new endeavor. It seems like we're saying this for how many months now, but thank you, Brian. I think you deserve all the thank yous. And I know we'll be seeing you around. You're not going anywhere. Jennifer, excellent advice. Excellent advice, especially this time of year. In fact, we have been trying diligently, if we are sending any checks in the mail, to personally take them into the post office and not put them in a box, too, as well. That's really good advice, so thank you for that. Welcome. Nice to have more women on the board. Nice to see you, Erin. Congratulations to everybody who has won 2 or 4 more years on the board. Merry Christmas to everybody. Have a safe holiday, no matter whether you're staying home or going away. Same thing with the new year. And be careful. No drinking and driving, right? So we'll see everybody in January. Thanks.
Sure. Well, thank you to the village community for all of their support. I'm excited to be here. Thanks to Dave for your time last month. We got to spend a few hours together talking through some protocols, so I appreciate your time and expertise.
Sure, anytime.
Tammy, I'll miss seeing you every month, so best of luck to you. And Brian, not that we had a chance to serve together, but certainly appreciate all of your support for the village. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, Tammy, only been seeing you for about a year now, but thank you. Appreciate everything. Mr. Netro, congratulations. Appreciate all your hard work for years. Actually, you're involved with the village when I was still a kid, so. Thank you for shaping it into a nice town where I can raise my kids, so.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Put them out.
Mr. McDuff, Navina Residence, congratulations, Mr. Duff. Welcome, Aaron. Welcome to the team. All right, it's good to see you up here. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, New Year's. Remember, an Uber is cheaper than seeing the chief over there, so keep your wits about you. So, but thank you.
Mr. Brian.
Yes, well, congratulations, Tammy, on your new position, and wish you the best on that endeavor. Congrats to Brian on his board retirement, and Aaron, welcome. And to our 3 returning council members, good to have you back. Other than that, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and everyone be safe. Enjoy.
Ditto.
Had a successful blood drive on Monday, it was Monday. Quite a few donations came in. Decorating contest, get your entry submitted by tomorrow, 4 p.m. Snacks with Santa's on Sunday. We are, of course, sold out as usual. Should be a good one as it always is. And this is the last week for PB&J donations for the PB&J drive. All proceeds going to Hospitality House. And so far, the donations have been great. And there's a lot of peanut butter and jelly in my foyer. And upstairs, too.
The pit is full upstairs. I don't know if you saw it tonight.
Yeah, so it's a lot.
It's overflowing.
And it's heavy. But thank you, everybody who's donating, either for the blood drive or to the PB&J drive. And Tammy, thank you for all you've done. Brian, probably walk by your house a lot, so I'll see you there too, and everything. Great working with you as always has been. Welcome Aaron, and congratulations to everyone who won. Looking forward to the next 2 years, and happy holidays to everybody.
I think Mark was going to say, since he was a kid too. So, I think that's what he was going to say also. Tammy, congratulations and good luck. We'll miss you. But then, and Aaron, welcome. It's nice having you. Congratulations. And Mark, congratulations. Just want to say thank you, Brian. Again, reiterate for everything we've done for the village. I wasn't a little kid when you started, but, you know, I was younger. So thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, and, you know, please be safe and have a great New Year.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion by Kaznecki, second by Duff. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.